All right, welcome back to my channel. This is Chantel, and I'm here to continue our lesson on parallel lines with transversals or cut by transversal. All right, so before my video cut off last time, we were talking about alternate exterior angles. So I'm just going to pick up from there. Let's go right here. I'm trying to get the video camera right on where it needs to be. Let's see. Hopefully it's a little bit like slanted. Let me get it. Okay, here we go. I think we got it now. All right, so we're talking about alternate exterior angles, and I said that if I was in a classroom, I would have my students explain to me what they thought alternate meant. Like, what does it mean to alternate? And then hopefully my kids would say, oh, it means like it means the opposite. And I would say, yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and write that word there. So when you think alternate, think opposite. All right, and then exterior, I would ask them, what's the difference between an exterior and interior of a car? And eventually would say, oh, exterior is located outside of the car and interior is inside. So it's the same things with these angles, the alternate exterior angles. So I went ahead and put the definition of this one down, and I said it's a non-adjacent angle. And remember, we said adjacent angles are angles that are side by side, so next to each other. So if I was sitting next to someone, they would be adjacent to me. So if it's non-adjacent, it's an angle that is not next to the other angle. So it is a non-adjacent angle that lie on the opposite side of the transversal and outside of the parallel lines. So in this particular case, I drew two parallel lines. I labeled one line M and the other line N, and I cut it by a transversal T. I made a transversal go the opposite way because I was always making it go to the right. Now I'm making it go to the left. All right, so for alternate interior angles, if we're saying that they're non-adjacent, that means they're not going to be angles that are next to each other. So it's not going to, oh, let me label the angles. First of all, I guess we know that when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, how many angles are formed? 8 angles. So let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 angles here. Okay, so if we're looking at alternate exterior angles, opposite angles that are outside, all right? So non-adjacent angles that are on opposite sides of the transversal. So here's the transversal right here, the purple line. So if I look at angle 1, okay? If I look at angle 1, and I say, okay, what angle is on the opposite side of angle 1? Okay, so you might say 4 is on the opposite side, and you wouldn't be wrong. But we're looking for a non-adjacent angle. So 1 and 4 are next to each other. So this can't be it. So none of these, 1, 2, 3, and 4, are not. It's not going to be in here because all of these angles are next to each other. I would say, yeah, they are, because 1 and 2 is literally right next to each other. 1 and 4 touches because they're vertical angles. 3 and 4 next to each other, and so on. So the opposite angle would actually be angle 8. So it's a non-adjacent angle. That means they're not next to each other. They lie on opposite sides of the transversal. One's at the top of the transversal, and one is at the bottom. So we would say, let me put over here, the angles 1 and angles 8 are alternate exterior angles. Oh, you can't see that. Okay. Angles 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. Almost like I need to zoom out, but I don't have like a zoom feature, so I gotta like pull up. And it's like weird. Okay, let me see. Hopefully, these are alternate exterior angles. Totally having like technical issues, but it'll be okay. All right. So if I was gonna look at some more, so let's just say I'm gonna change colors. I'm gonna hopefully you can see this yellow. What about angle 2? If I was going to choose this as my alternate exterior angle, what pair would match with that? I'm hoping that you said 7 right here. So these two, the measure of angles 2 and the measure of angle 7. Angle 2 and angle 7. Those are alternate exterior angles because they're angles that are opposite of a transversal and they're outside of the parallel line. I'm gonna write this in black because the yellow was hard to see. So angle 2 and angle 7 are outside of the parallel lines. Yep. And are opposite of the transversal. All right, hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's try to, and oh, the other thing I want to tell you about this angle, along with corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles are also congruent, which means they're also equal. So these angles, angles 1 and angle 8 are both equal to each other. Okay, and angles 2 and angle 7 are both equal to each other. You're going to see the relevance shortly. Okay, so we're talking about alternate exterior angles. You know, I also have to tell you about the alternate interior angles. Okay, and what do you think that definition would be? Okay, we're going to go with it. It's still a non-adjacent angle. And it's still going to lie on the opposite side of the transversal, but it's going to be between or inside of the parallel lines. Okay. Let's see. Let me zoom out some more. Okay. All right. So here we go. Okay. So here we go. They're going to be non-adjacent, which means they're not going to be next to each other. That lie on opposite sides of the transversal, but they're between, and then I'm going to put between right here, I'm going to put in parentheses inside. They're between, inside the parallel lines. Okay, because like over here, they were outside of the parallel lines. I don't know if I explained that well, but yeah, I guess you can see that. But in this particular case, when they're alternate interior angles, they are inside of the parallel lines. So I'm going to draw two parallel lines. I'm going to call it K and Q. And I'm going to draw the little triangles to symbolize that they're parallel. And I'm going to draw the transversal the opposite way. Okay. So it's transversal T. Can you see that? All right. And then I'm going to label, I'm going to number them. So I'm going to say this is angle 1, 2, 3, 4. Because how many angles are formed when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal? That's right. 8 angles are formed. Okay. So out of the 8 angles, now we're looking for non-adjacent angles, angles that are not next to each other, that are on the opposite side of the transversal. So they still need to be on opposite sides of the transversal, but they need to be in between the parallel lines. So let's just say if we were looking at angle 3. Here's angle 3. What would be the alternate interior angle for 3? It's going to be opposite the transversal, and it's going to be in between the parallel lines. Hopefully you said 6. So the measure of angles 3 and the measure of angle 6 are alternate. Actually, they're congruent because they're alternate interior angles. All right. Okay, so give me 2 more. If I was going to pick 2 more inside angles, 4, the measure of angle 4. I'm saying measure because I'm eventually realizing that we're going to be talking about the measures being congruent. So what I'm really just trying to say, angle 4. And angle, what's the other one? 5. Angle 5. They are also alternate. Those are the other 2 alternate interior angles. So what we know about these angles is that these are also congruent. And we also know that congruent means that they are equal. All right. All right, I'm going to stop this here.